Hello there, once again welcome back to Psyance for another beer review. Today we'll be reviewing a can of Sur Simcoe by the Tool Brewery, or 2L as some people pronounce it. I'm not exactly sure how you pronounce it. This is a sour session pale ale coming in at 4.5% ABV. It says on the front of the can, seducingly subtle savoury pale ale brewed for everyone with a cling for sour beers. I love that can though. If every can of beer looked like that, how cool is that? So I assume this is, excuse me, there's some strange noises around here. I assume this is purely Simcoe hot. Brewed and canned a Belgian brewery, imported to the US by Shelter. See, it's interesting because I think I said this was a Norwegian or Swedish brewery. I think I'm right now saying they're Danish. I did read that the other day. Again, I could be wrong, but it's a Scandinavian brewery anyway. And it says brewed and canned by Tool at the Proef Brewery and something that I can't pronounce in Belgium. So it's a product of Belgium. But then it says imported to the US by Shelton Brewers, Massachusetts or whatever, or Michigan. I'm not sure which one that is. MA? Could be completely wrong. Probably MA. Probably MA. Probably Michigan. State of Michigan? Yeah. Oh, there isn't. Is Massachusetts? Oh, I don't know. Geography was never my strong point. That's why I took history. But it's a Scandinavian beer brewed in Belgium, apparently imported to the US, but then it's sold in the UK, bought in the UK. So how does that work? Even though there's no, nothing on it that says that otherwise. So someone tell me, please. Apparently the design of the can is Casper Ledet. Well, Casper, I think a few more people should be asking for your designs, because that is a cool design and I really like that. I know it sounds silly, but I like it so much I don't want to drink it. Anyway, got to. So let's get it into a glass. This is what's known as a tall boy, so one of the larger cans. Pouring some head on here, I can't help. I'm pouring it a bit fast actually. There's quite a bit of carbonation, so we'll leave it there. It's a yeah, exactly. Well, see, this is what I mean. It's made for the US market because it says 1 PT, which I presume is a pint. 0.9 fluid ounces. So there's no UK measurement on there. So it's interesting. Now, I've mentioned in my previous reviews, or recent reviews, about the price of some of these cans and beers in supermarkets, and excuse me, I recently did one, or last did one, from the Heretic, and that was £3 a can for a 355ml can, and that's, what do our cans come in again now? 500ml? Can't remember. My memory's useless. I'm in my age, and I think I've already got Alzheimer's. But this was $4.50, so a little bit more expensive. It's only 4.5%. Depends what you want to pay for it though. I was accepting of paying that amount for it. If it was cheaper, of course I would love it. If it was more expensive, a bit more reluctant. But I tell you what, again, and I keep harping on about it, but I love that design. And for £4.50, regardless of the beer, I just thought that was cool, and I'd happily have that on my shelf just for that price. So yeah, good job there, Tool. So sorry, I'm just pouring the rest of this in. The head's dissipating quite quickly here. So it's a thinned out head, and it's very light carbonation, but that is a cloudy orange, very cloudy. Let's see what the aroma is. Ooh. Now, I'm not you know, I do these beer reviews. I enjoy beer, but I'll be honest, I'm not great with identifying hops. Never been around hops to smell them individually or whatever. I can recognise the typical ones, maybe like a Citra. Well, probably only the Citra. That's an easy one. But this apparently, well, it says Sur Simcoe or Sur Simcoe, so I presume it's a Simcoe hop. But I don't know what that actually smells like on its own. But what I'm getting on it, or off this rather, a little bit peppery again. Like a lot of celery. There's some celery there. Big smell of celery. Yeah, definite celery. And then there's a bit like a lemon pith. Maybe subtlest hint of asparagus there as well. Very veggie sort of smell, you know, earthy. But that's nice. It's coming through, so it's nice. Let's get a taste. Cheers. Oh wow. You know, I remember first trying a sour beer at the Birmingham Beer Bash. It was just about the same time I just started to get into what's called craft beer. And everyone was getting, I can't remember what brewery it was, but everyone was going for this particular sour beer. You know, I waited there in a queue, I had a third of that. And I was like, what's this all about? And all I got from it was mint sauce. If anyone's ever tried mint sauce, exactly that. That's all I could taste. Now, I've had that off one since, but then I thought at the time, or thinking back rather, maybe it's that my palate's not used to sour beers. Now, I've had a number of sour beers since, and like I said, I've only had that once since, and I haven't had it again, or off other sour beers. Especially not off something like cherry sour, which Tiny Rebel do, and that is amazing. Or cherry, I think, is it called cherry bomb? Might be called cherry bomb that they do. But this, isn't overly sour. There's a slight kick of sourness when you first take the sip, and it goes over your palate, and then it dries. Very dry beer, and then maybe a bit too dry. Then you get a rush of orange pith, not the actual orange, just an orange pith, followed by a bit of lemon. And it goes straight into that dryness, and it dries across your teeth and across your palate and goes down. The aftertaste, there's not a lot there, to be honest, and it's really dry in the mouth. Excuse me. Oh, gassy. I don't know. I'm not getting a lot more flavours off that. Still getting that earthy smell. No, there's nothing wrong with that, but you know, I'm not the biggest fan of celery, and it can be a bit dry and bleh. There's a hint like a Weiss beer note, but it's not big in flavour really at all. Dry sour, definitely a kick of orange that comes across, but not much else. which is a little bit disappointing because I think the design, the design of the can, again going on about it, I think the beer needs to go with the can. And it says seducingly subtle, savoury pale ale. Now, for everyone with a cling for sour beers, now it's very clever that is, because the beer does cling to your mouth with that sourness. It dries it properly, and so it's clinging. Yes, session beer, easily sessionable. You could drink this and be like, yeah, but this is, for me, I've had a lot more sour, if that's a word, sour beers than this, and nicer. But this is coming across like what would be classed, like a real ale, like a bit like a golden ale, but with a sour kick. That's probably how you describe it: a golden real ale with a sour kick, and then dry on the palate. And it is subtle, and yeah, the savoury. It's definitely not fruity. Not really. I know I said there's a big orange kick, but it's not really fruity. I mean, it comes across immediately on the aftertaste and then goes away again, like pretty quickly. And the smell is definitely like of veg. Maybe a little lettuce in there, and there's a slight peppery note. But other than that, it's more like this is what I mean when people say, it's awkward when people say, oh, craft beer and all this. But beer's beer at the end of the day. It's just, yes, there's lagering, hence lager. You can say craft beer, but what is craft beer? Because a beer is not made to the typical standard. So, like, it's not a lager, it's not, it's not a bitter, it's not a mild, it's not a porter, it's not a stout. It's craft because it's got a fruity flavour or whatever. But then again, if you go to a place like America or New Zealand or whatever, they do like beers. It's not craft for them, really. They may call it, but it's not. It's only what's normal beer. Oh, excuse me. So, I don't really... I call it that because it's what everyone knows it is over here, but, it's just beer at the end of the day. And, like, this is a good crossover to the real ale craft beer that everyone calls it here. Anyway, interesting one that. So would I buy this again? Wait for my camera to focus. I think I should have bought a video camera now instead of just a DSLR. Never mind. Good value for money really with everything I've taken with it. So on design alone, Sur Simcoe by Tool, Sour Session Pale Ale, I would buy that again because it's reasonable. Not the biggest of tastes, but it's reasonable. I'd drink it again, knowing that I'm not going to get a lot, but it's an acceptable sour. I know if someone wasn't into sour beers, I could get them on this. Just as a starter, it's a good starter sour, so try that. Sur Simcoe, good starter sour. Someone who likes a bitter, or typically into the real ale, get them into this sort of scene or type of beer, give them that. It's good beer for that. It's a session beer, definitely. Cool design on the can. Again, I keep saying it, but I really love that design. Would I buy it again? Possibly as a one-off. Now I know what it's about. Maybe if I was out, if you was out with a few people and it was there, yes, because you could have a call of them and you'd be acceptable. If there was not a lot else on offer, or if there were stronger beers, yes, could easily drink that. Out of 10, I was expecting a bit more, but it's interesting to get those sort of sour, that subtle sour with that earthy flavour. But still, for me, a bit disappointing. So, Sur Simcoe, probably Sur Simcoe from the Tool Brewery. I'm going to raise it to the 6. I was only going to give it a 5 for me because I was expecting more. But for the can design, I give it an extra point. So 6 out of 10 because that is a cool design. And maybe they could do a series out of that design. You know, because colours can change and that's a standout label. So fair play to them for that. So 6 out of 10 from Psyance. So thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you again next time.